There was a lot of things that turned out really well in 2023, but there's also a lot of things I don't want to repeat in 2024. This year is going to be different in so many ways. We're going to become parents for the first time in our lives, and we're going to renovate the cabin so it actually fits this new family of ours. One of the biggest mistakes I made last year is that I actually pushed myself too hard. I took on way too many projects without even realizing it was too much. In the middle of December, I was so burned out that I almost passed out a few times, like literally passed out. So I had to sit down before fainting. And it's a lot of renovation products, it's a lot of digital products being developed. And I have felt an immense pressure to do more all the time, which has led me to a lot of conclusions that I would like to change now when we're in 2024. It's a new year, it's a new start. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be different. I did a lot of renovations last year, and I'm in the middle of one right now. But what really got me thinking now when we're in the new year is that it's gonna sound so stupid, but it was truly an epiphany from my end. Like, the only one setting the deadlines for my projects and all the renovations and everything is myself. So why am I pushing so hard? Who am I pushing so hard for? And why? Since I'm running my own company, I don't have a boss. But if I had a boss and that boss treated me the same way I treat myself, I would immediately quit that job. The way I'm pushing myself, and maybe the way you're pushing yourself as well, is not reasonable. And I think when I've been thinking about it for some time now, it comes down to that we're constantly comparing ourselves to everyone else. We have access to everyone's lives these days with social media, and for me, I could tell last year that it was not healthy for me at all. I talked about this with my friend Olle on my podcast, that I've actually stopped following all the people in our niche that does this cabin life, simple living, off-grid living. Even though I enjoy their videos, I got so stressed out because every time I went on YouTube to just enjoy myself and watch something fun, I immediately felt like I was behind. Oh, they did that. Oh, that couple did this thing. And I immediately got anxiety and super stressed. So a quick way to fix it is that I just unfollowed everyone. It's nothing personal to that couple or that person. It was just so much to take in. And I think it is up to us. If we're going to feel better, we have to delete the things that makes us unhappy. My dreams and vision for this place is to build something that we all can live in permanently, something that feels safe and something we feel excited about, all of us. But for that to be a reality, there are at least 3 things that need to happen. The first thing is to drill a well, because we've been relying on the stream that pours down from the mountain and then into this pond that we have here, which works most of the time, about, I would say, 11 months a year. It does work. And during like August or something, for some reason it just stops pouring. And it's not because it's extra hot outside or something, I don't know why. And I've been researching, traveling up the mountain, trying to see where it comes from, and I can't find anything wrong with it. So I don't know what it is. And I want a reliable water source for us. And also when it's this cold outside, right now when I'm speaking, it's minus 28, I think. Yesterday was minus 34. And it's a lot of work getting drinking water from the pond, especially when you're gonna have a kid. So I think it's a very smart investment to drill a well, And I've been talking with some different companies. The tricky part is that you never know exactly what it's gonna cost because they charge by the meter, so you get an estimate. But I think we have quite high chances of getting good water here and not that deep down, since we have a water source already pouring from the mountain, and we are close to the foundation, the core, what do you want to call it. It should be a good chance of getting water quite early, but I don't want to jinx it, so I really hope that we can find it. The reality is that I want this cabin to be a simple cabin, but in the same time it should be practical enough for a family to live here. Like yesterday when it was minus 34, I spent the whole day carrying firewood and just throwing it in the fireplace to keep warm. That was a whole day's work. I didn't do anything else, just trying to keep warm. And then I also have radiators, I have an air heating pump going on max, but we still can't keep it warm enough. And I think, or I know, there's so many opinions out there that want to keep this cabin as a simple cabin, but my vision has never been that. I bought this place for the very first time as a summer house, and then later on it had evolved into something else. I've always seen this as a simple cabin, but I want to step it up for every year. I want it to be a bit more comfortable. But the most important part is that the place we live. It's a middle of the forest, away from neighbors. It's just completely secluded. That's what I want to keep. What I want to do with the cabin is to take it to the next level, and that's drilling a well. That means running water in the cabin so we can have a reliable water source. And I'm actually looking forward to it a lot. And that's just step one of this transformation of the cabin. Besides the unfollowing and everything on YouTube, I made a very adult decision a couple of weeks ago. I have been working on an online course since March last year, so almost a year now, of I don't know how much money and how many hours I've put into that online course, and it's basically done. I've hired some really good guest lecturers to come and talk on the course, like Natalia and Drew, Lena Henningsen, Mattias and Tova från Tallasbuan, Danny Connor. Everything was just lined up, ready to go. But in December I just felt like, you know what? I'm not in the best state myself, and I want to do this so it's become the most amount of fun it could possibly be, because I've been working so hard on this course. And now I just decided to, like, you know what? We're gonna push it to next year. And that took, I don't want to say bravery, but I want to say that it took a lot of letting go of my ego, because it felt like I was failing myself by pushing this course. But afterwards, you know, when you're taking a big decision, you can almost immediately feel in your guts like, yeah, that was the right decision. And that's exactly what I feel about this. It was a very adult decision, in some ways quite boring, but in so many ways better, because me having an online course basically just weeks before we're having a baby, in all the renovations that's going on, is not possible when I feel or have been feeling this stressed out. It's better that I focus on being a good boyfriend, trying to renovate a bit before the baby comes, and just take it step by step. It's so easy that you get caught up and everything just starts piling on. And yes, I will address the complete chaos that is this cabin at this point. But we'll do that a bit later in the video. The second thing we're gonna do after we're done drilling the well is to completely remodel this whole kitchen. Because the reality is that I built this kitchen when I first moved here in 2017. And I built it for a single man living alone in the woods. And today we're 2 dogs, we have added the girlfriend, and now we're getting a kid as well. So the family is, you can easily say that it's growing, and then the house needs to grow with it. So we're gonna basically tear out everything that we have today, this whole bench and everything around it, and then start from scratch again. We're gonna, of course, keep the cabin look and feel of it, but we need way more working areas, We need a proper sink. We're gonna pull in the water from the well that we're drilling. We're gonna get an oven, because that's something both Christina and I have been missing a lot, like baking bread and just doing, potatoes or whatever we want to do. We have a little oven in the wood burning stove. It works, but it's quite tricky to get it right, to say the least. But besides just getting more working areas here in the kitchen and so on, we also need way more storage. We have everything with open shelves, and it looks pretty when we have little stuff in the pantry. But when we have a lot of stuff, which we most of the time do, it just looks very cluttery. It's just stuff everywhere. And it's also not very convenient because sometimes we get mice that comes in because we live in the forest, and they can access everything at once if they feel like it, which they do. It's like a buffet for them in here. So getting good storage, getting good working areas, and running water. It's gonna look like a completely new kitchen, but I'm very excited about the different things we've been talking about and the design of it as well. But the funny thing about taking time off, like I've done now during the holidays to spend time with my family, but also just spending alone time here in the cabin, is that when I've been laying on the couch watching a series on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever I'm watching, even though I'm enjoying that time, I'm at the same time feeling like a complete piece of shit. Like, why are you laying here wasting your time when you can be productive? It's like my brain really can't shut off from being productive. I don't say this as like a bragging thing that I can't take time off. I'm actually really struggling with this because I feel, I don't know, every time my head gets a bit of space from what I'm doing, it tells me that I should build something, record something, create something. But the reality is that if I don't rest, if I don't force myself to lay on that couch or sleep in the morning, I'm not gonna have energy for that much longer to do these projects. And what I've heard from parents and friends of mine that have kids, it's like they tell me that you should rest before you get kids, because you're gonna have so much, you're gonna spend so much time with that kid just trying to make him happy and sleep and everything. But I feel the opposite, because I want to get as much done as possible before he's here, so I can spend time with him and Christine when he has arrived, instead of just me being in the middle of renovations. But I don't know how to balance it all. I have some tools that I've used that really help me, but they haven't really fixed the problem, but they have made it better. So one of the things that have really helped me in the development of my mental health, I would maybe call it, is maybe it's gonna sound like the most simplest thing ever, I don't know, but it's to actually write a diary or a journal, whatever you want to call it. I started doing that in 2017. The reason I did that is because I wanted to be able to look back on the progress and the failures I made along the way, because I feel like if we don't have something to look back on, we have no idea how far we've actually come. Okay, it's really thick today. This is what I have to do to get my drinking water every morning. I think I have to find a better solution for the future, but this is what it is right now. But when it comes to the diary thing, I sometimes actually take up one of my old journals, just swipe a few pages back or a few years back and just read, what did I went through on a Monday in October in 2019? What happened then? Because I have no memory of it. But if I read back, like, oh, it was that day. And it was the same thing when I look back on how I felt when I lived in the cabin from the beginning. Completely different feeling compared to what it feels today. So I would really try to encourage you to actually write a journal. It can be on your phone, it can be in a pretty little leather-bound journal. Whatever makes it work for you, do that. The third, and also the biggest project, will be to build a proper bathroom. It's been something that me and Christine have talked about for such a long time, or something I've even been dreaming about since I moved here. But it all comes down to what we can afford. But what I dream is that we're gonna extend the cabin with like logs, so it fits the cabin style. But the original idea was to build it out everything all at once, you know, like a proper kids room, an office for Christine, extra guest room, and then a bathroom. And that project for both me and Christine got very overwhelming. But when we sat down and talked about it and realized the thing that we actually need is the bathroom. The rest can wait a bit. Christine has an office in her parents' house. A kids room is not going to be necessary for a few years at least. The guest room we will have when the A-frame is done. So what we actually need is the bathroom. So that's gonna be project number 3. It's not exactly in this order, maybe, I don't know yet. But we dream of a bathroom with running water. Since we're also already gonna have it to the kitchen, we might as well just connect it to the bathroom. Have a hot tub. That's something we've been really talking about. It doesn't need to be a functional water toilet. It can easily be a compost toilet, but like we have today, but a more inside version, because the one we have outside right now, it works, but it's extremely cold to sit there. So I would like something inside, especially when we have a kid. It's gonna work, but it's gonna be quite challenging, I think. But the biggest concern for me has always been, how are we gonna be able to afford all of these projects? Because drilling a well, renovating a kitchen, building a completely new bathroom, that's probably gonna cost quite a lot. And to be completely honest, I don't have a solution for it yet. But one thing I've decided to do, which I feel very excited about, is to go back to posting on Patreon. So I just recently uploaded a brand new video there, where I'm explaining exactly what we're doing right now, what this chaos is. We're renovating the floors, we're painting the ceiling in the kitchen again, and doing a lot of other fun stuff. So if you want to support us and help us make these projects a reality, Patreon is a really good way to do so, because it makes us have a more reliable income, because the YouTube goes very much up and down and we have no idea how much income we're getting. Patreon, with the monthly revenue that comes in there, makes it way more reliable. So we get more reliable income, and you guys get extra content if you sign up to that place. So if you do, thank you so much. And to all the patrons that are already there, thank you so much for supporting us along the way. That really, really means a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next Sunday with a new update. Until then, take care. Bye.